All right, everyone. Hello. It is Jeff Mosher and Adam Kaplan here Tuesday night, as we always are, for our ITB TV Ask ITB live stream. And we've got Adam, about 9 days from today is the first round of the NFL draft. We're getting closer. We've been answering a lot of draft questions. We've been doing a lot of shows with Greg Cosell. Hope everybody has been checking that out on the Inside the Birds platforms. And listen, we have a great announcement. If you haven't caught it yet, we will be doing a draft preview show. Adam, myself, and of course, Greg Cosell. We will be doing a draft preview show Thursday from 5:30 to 7:30 to preview the NFL draft. It'll be at Evil Genius Beer Company in Fishtown. So we thank them for being great partners and sponsors of the event. There is an opportunity to go there, make reservations, and see it. Again, 5:30 to 7:30. If not, you can watch it on all the Inside the Birds platforms, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, like you would our Inside the Birds pregame show. So we're really excited about that. Thanks to Fishtown. Also, thanks to DraftKings Sportsbook and Sky Motor Cars for being sponsors of the event. And Adam, we're getting so close. I'm looking forward to that show because we're going to probably get 2 hours of – I don't think anybody who's an Eagles fan, personally, I know I'm biased here, even an NFL fan, needs to watch any other show because Inside the Birds is where it's at.
When we did our pregame show last fall, it's funny you say it that way because that's the way I felt probably 4 or 5 weeks in with you, me, Cosell, and Trey Thomas. I was like, there's no better Eagles pregame show on radio or television. It's not even close.
Agreed.
From an information standpoint, from an analysis standpoint, from our two guys who are giving us their analysis, one guy is the best tape reviewer, one guy is a former player who's terrific and smart. We're very lucky, and we appreciate everybody's support. And like you said, 9 days away, man. It was probably about 2 weeks away from the draft where we started hitting was probably going to be Rager. We weren't 100% sure, but we felt pretty certain of it was going to be. And then a couple days before, everything we were doing, we were saying it's going to be Rager. We think. Barring a surprise. Right. I started getting nervous as I did when I told you it was going to be McCaffrey when you and I did the show for the Fanatic in 17 in Philly at the draft.
Yep.
I was like, if he's there, they don't take him. I'm probably not. I won't because I'll get killed on social media. When I've been wrong over the years, no matter what team I was reporting on, I would get skewered on social media, killed. Where I'm like, oh God, here we go. And I would take it like a man. Take the L and move on. But This one's fascinating because, they need corners. They need receivers. But and we're getting a lot of these questions. So I just want to make a general statement about it. Mm-hmm. Rashawn Slater is a hell of a football player. If their board gets, the 11 picks in front of them, if the Alabama receivers go, if the two top corners go, you're going to need another player. And Rashawn Slater, to me, would be a terrific pick there because he's got positional versatility.
Yeah, what you just said is great. I mean, here's a guy who's 303 pounds, which means not only can he play tackle, but he can play guard, play center. Some people around the league have said that he could. You wouldn't want to use a top 12 pick on a center, but they feel that he had the athleticism perhaps later in his career if he ever needed to play on a pinch or whatever to do it. It's interesting because Penei Sewell – I've heard these guys described both as very athletic, but in different ways. Sewell is 330 pounds, moves like the dancing bear, that kind of gymnasium athleticism that you just, makes you like salivate. But you look at Slater, I don't think he gets enough credit for his athleticism. He has great football athleticism as far as the ability to make your reach block at the line of scrimmage and run up into the second level, cover a linebacker, cover a safety. He's a real technician. So I agree with you. I think, these two offensive linemen, you hear Howie Roseman sometimes say it's like one's like chocolate, one's like vanilla. Right. It just depends on what you like. But two really good offensive linemen who I agree have kind of gone under the radar compared to all the offensive weaponry and some of the cornerbacks that we talk about.
Yeah, so, two things with Sewell are absolutely 100% accurate because it's factual. Mm-hmm. Short arms,
right?
It's a problem for some teams. It's absolutely a problem. And his tape is not clean. You have to go through coaching tape, TV tape. You're completely wasting your time. Anyone who gives you a hard TV tape analysis, who's a draft expert, don't listen to them. They don't know anything. You got to talk to people who actually grade all 22. I've talked to easily a dozen people. There may be two people who think a little higher than other people I respect on this player. Mm-hmm. He's not an elite player right now. Like the media is acting like this guy's like the best thing since Tony Baselli. It couldn't be further from the truth.
Right.
He's a very good prospect, absolutely. But he is not in any way, shape, or form elite prospect based on, in fact, I know two guys who play in the league, who work in the NFL and in scouting, who I talked to from, they're not from this area. They're from Midwest and West.
Mm-hmm.
They see him as a guy that you really like. He's plug and play day one. They don't see him as elite, and I've known these guys for over 10 years, and I swear by some people with certain information. When they say this guy's not elite, I go with it.
All right, well, there you have it. We will definitely talk offensive line with Greg Cosell on our preview show, and I just want to remind people listening that the show at Evil Genius, of course, it'll be broadcast on all of our platforms, but if you want to go, free reservations are available. It's recommended that you kind of contact them in advance. There's limited seating. You can go to the Inside the Birds Twitter account at Inside Birds, scroll down, and you'll find we've tweeted out the link to be able to reserve your spot at Evil Genius if you want to do that. So we got questions lining up. Real quick, just want to remind people, Masvidal and Usman put on a show the last time they stepped into the octagon, and round 2 is sure to pack a punch. DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of UFC, is putting you in the center of this weekend's title fight with 26-1 odds on either title contender to reign victorious. So you pick either main event fighter to win during this weekend's UFC 261 title fight, and DraftKings Sportsbook gives you 26-1 odds. Just bet $5 on either fighter to win, and you'll walk out with if they walk out with the belt, you cash $130. There's no better way to put your MMA knowledge to the test than put your money where your mouth is with DraftKings Sportsbook. And don't worry if MMA is not for you. DraftKings Sportsbook offers great odds and promotions on basketball, hockey, so much more. DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable, so you can deposit and withdraw your funds at your convenience. So download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code ITB when you sign up to turn $5 into $130 if the title contender of your choice wins. Place your bet. Watch the fist fly this weekend. That's code ITB to turn $5 into $130 if the fighter of your choosing takes home the crown. For a limited time only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Got to be 21 or older, Pennsylvania only. New customers only. Restrictions apply. In partnership with Meadows Racetrack and Casino. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. And gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, let's get to the questions. They came fast and furiously now, so we're going to try to get through as many.
I retweeted. Yeah, I saw your tweet. I was like, all right, yeah, we need to get some questions, and we got some, so let's do it.
All right, Frank Gradia is first up. We know Frank, a big follower of ITB in the past. And he asks, what is more likely to us? Eagles move up, move down, or stay where they are? And is there any chance the Eagles would move up to grab a quarterback if Justin Fields or Trey Lance slides? Don't you think, Adam, that once they got out of moved down from 6 to 12, that they were out of the quarterback business? I don't want to say never say never, but yeah,
quarterback, QB.
Yes, quarterback. Right.
CB. Yeah. Anyway.
So then if one of those two guys was, let's say the Eagles stayed at 12 and Lance or Fields are there, probably invites the Eagles to trade with somebody who might want a quarterback. I don't know if people would love that.
Oh, well, look. Well, one thing I would say, if Fields drops, I don't think he will. But if he does, one of those teams like the Bears, we're picking at 20, though if, at 20, I don't see them taking a quarterback. I don't think the quarterback who they would want would be there anyway. They have other needs as well. People are seem to be like, oh, they have to take a quarterback. Not so fast, not there. But nevertheless, if Fields did drop, that might be a team that would entice the Bears at 20 to trade up. There might be some other teams. And look, I know the Steelers need to do something at running back. I get it. But at some point, you can't just keep thinking Ben Roethlisberger should keep coming back. They're at 24, by the way. They're not going to trade up to 12. But I do wonder, though, is there a team like the Patriots or somebody else like that who would want to trade up?
Yeah, no, I think they're the Steelers who may want to get their quarterback of the future. I think there's going to be some surprises here if Fields and Lance kind of fall out of the top 5 or 6, or there may be some
Lance
trades into the top 10.
Yeah, Lance to me if he goes in the upper half of the draft, it would be a small surprise to me. He's just a guy that I had a GM tell me last week, and another high-ranking guy agree with this. If you think he's ready to go week 1, you're probably going to be wrong on that.
Mm-hmm.
Never say never, but he's got the furthest development to make of all the quarterbacks, of the top guys.
Right.
He's going to go in the first round. There's no doubt. But
perfect Steeler. You just stash him for a year behind Ben, and
totally agree. That's why I brought up quarterback at 24. I know it's been written by a bunch of the reporters who cover the Steelers that they're leaning towards the running back or first or second round. But look, when you're an organization like the Steelers who drafts incredibly well, it's always about the future. That's what the draft is. It's not about the current year.
Mm-hmm.
And absolutely should take quarterback. Lance to me is the perfect developmental quarterback for year 2.
Definitely. All right. Victor Chekhov asks, other than Kyle Pitts, who are some of the other tight ends that the Eagles could target in the middle rounds? And unfortunately, it is not a very strong tight end draft, Adam, after Kyle Pitts. There are a few guys. I'll show my Penn State colors here. Pat Fryermuth is a kid that will probably go sometime on day 2. But other than that, I have not heard a lot about great tight end prospects in this draft. If the Eagles don't draft a tight end, I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, they have to add another one. We're going to assume that Ertz gets traded during the draft. Before it or during it, I'd be shocked if he's still on the roster after the draft. Whether it's day 3, they get rid of him, whatever. The key, what they'll be looking for somebody who can block, because if it's we'll have more. Well, I have to get some intel on. I know who they all are, and I know Tremble. I need to get a little bit more on Tremble because he left school early.
Yep.
I gotta get a feel for some of the coaches that I know pretty well, where they think he'll be ready to contribute. Because this is such a weak tight end class, one of the weakest I've seen in years. After Pitts goes within the top 5, Fryermuth probably will be 3rd round. I don't know that he goes in the 2nd. He's a good player, but I don't know.
Yeah, I would agree. I would
agree.
3rd round. Yeah.
So I don't know, man. The tight end they draft, I still think they will if they have 10 or 11 picks.
Mm-hmm.
The guy's got to be able to block. They're not going to look for a guy who could just run. They got to get someone to help Goddard out because Goddard's role is going to grow significantly this season if healthy.
Richard Rodgers is still out there, is he not? You know how much I'm a big Rich Rodgers fan, so
I know.
I would bring him back. Now, how many developmental or quote unquote young tight ends the Eagles have behind Dallas Goedert? Assuming Zach Ertz is traded, you still have they signed Jason Kroom last year, right?
Cosell liked him. If you remember when he came on when he was on our pregame show, he broke him down pretty well. Now, I always thought Kroom was a pretty good athlete for the position, but needed to grow into it at this level.
Right.
Rex said he was a willing blocker. He would be. Now, he's a nice. Glad you brought him up.
Mm-hmm.
He's a guy that I think has got some ability. Caleb Wilson is just I don't think he'll ever make it.
Right.
Tyree
They
Jackson,
signed. Yeah. Go ahead.
Major project. Needs
That's
to learn
the former Buffalo quarterback, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Who did a smart thing because he had the same issue that Logan Thomas had. Couldn't hit the broadside of a barn with accuracy. Awful accuracy, but strong arm. So he's smart to play tight end. And Keem Butler is new to the position. So Kroom is a guy to keep an eye on. But again, he's an outlier. They needed someone they could depend on behind Goddard. And to me, the guy's got to be able to block. We'll probably nail that down on our next. In fact, Thursday show. I'm gonna have that for us.
All right, we'll look forward to that. Richard Rodgers, baby, I'm ringing the bell right now. All right, Nick Augustine. But Richard Rodgers was probably their most productive tight end last year, to be honest with you, because Ertz was not productive and hurt, and Goddard got hurt. He had some good games, but Richard Rodgers won them. Well, who's that game against the Giants? He caught everything that Carson Wentz threw in that
4
game.
for 80. Yeah, the 4 for 80 game, whatever it was. It was crazy.
Always been a big fan.
He can run,
Yeah, he can. Yeah, and he can block. Nick Augustine asks, if the Eagles want to move into the top 10, does it make sense for them to make the trade before the draft or on draft night? Now, I know why Nick is asking that, because if you wait until draft night, you might get jumped by somebody. I mean, every 10 minutes, there's a report about some team in the top 10 looking to move down, right? So some of that is just all hot air, though.
Well, just so you know, the trade calls have been happening. Like every team has talked to every team.
Yes.
See this report. This team is fielding calls. No kidding, the fielding calls.
Yeah, everybody's called everybody.
What does that mean? Yeah.
Right.
Now there's some teams that make it clear to reporters when they call. You and I know this because we've gone through this. They'll make it clear. In fact, sometimes they'll say, "Hey, you could go report this." They're making it clear they want it out, that they want to trade out. The pick is very available. Atlanta was that team, but I do wonder now if Atlanta backs out or backs off, do they – because if they pretty much will the final week, the final few days, they'll nail down who it's going to be at 4 if they stay there.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're a team like Atlanta that was terrible last season, that has so many needs, they're right up there with the Eagles in terms of needs. The Eagles have more needs, but they're not too far away.
That is true. I would lean, if you put a gun to my head and said, what do the Eagles do if they wind up trading up before or on draft night? I would probably think the way that you're looking about the way the board falls.
Yeah.
What's CB?
Yeah,
of course.
They're not trading up. The only way they would trade up for a receiver, like last year, I'll give you an example. They never considered him told trading up for Rager. They felt through their analytics, this is one part of analytics I like, and I don't know how they do this. They have some sort of algorithm where and they're not the only team that has this. They kind of know whatever the factors are. It might be based on how these teams draft or whatever their way that they do it, that the player would drop to them. They were right. Now, we'll see if it works out for Rager. Year one was underwhelming. Quarterback issue, 2 injuries. We got to see if he can make the jump this season. But I think the only position they would trade up for would be corner, unless if by a miracle Pitts or Chase went past 6. Oh, my God, I'd be shocked. That would be the upset of the century, man. If that happened.
Stranger things have happened. Yeah, no, I can only because some strange things have really happened in the draft over the years. Sure. All right, moving on. First, if you're looking to buy a car, sell a car, you want to do a sell or a trade, you got to check out our friends at Sky Motor Cars. SkyMotorCars.com is their website. They're out in Westchester, PA. You can get a great deal on whatever you're looking to do with a car. Adam knows it. I know it. Some Eagles know it who have done business with them. So go check them out. SkyMotors.com is their website. SkyMotorCars.com.
Correct. Sky Motor Cars. Yes.
All right. Carl Stevenson, loyal listener. What's up, Carl? He asks, with the defense playing more cover 2, 3, 4, how do you see them playing the safety position? Do they draft a safety? Draft a safety?
Oh, boy. Here we go.
Draft
Don't get them started.
I mean, yeah, in like the 5th round, maybe, or 6th or something like that. No, they're not, I don't see them drafting a safety in the 1st round. Not at all.
No.
There's not even really a safety prospect that you hear about going top 10 or top 15, unless you kind of consider some of these linebacker safety hybrid types.
Well, the Morig kid is going to go in the 1st round from TCU, most likely.
Morig, you think so? My information is that he's
top 40.
Okay, yeah, top 40. That's what I've got. He's got some limitations.
Richie Grant, I don't know where. I got to find out where he's going to go. I thought the 2nd or 3rd round.
Mm-hmm.
Now it would behoove them. Epps is a backup. Harris is a 1-year deal. Wallace, they know nothing about. Andrew Adams is a forced safety. McLeod's coming back ACL reconstruction. He's on the final year of his deal.
Right.
I know they have bodies, but that doesn't mean you're good enough there. It would behoove them to draft a safety 3rd or 4th round if the staff. So here's another question. We got this question. It's a great question, which I sort of answered on Sunday night or Monday show. Roseman, the general manager, does listen to his coaches, which you're supposed to do, particularly for scheme.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes over the years, I heard he maybe listened too much. You don't want to you want to take in the information, but you got to be careful. Some of these coaches over the years here have not been very good evaluators. This goes on in every building. You got to weed out the guys who aren't very good evaluators.
Mm-hmm.
This is a new staff, so I don't know how you know. Obviously, they have the scouting meetings, which have been going on, the personnel meetings lately. So the front office could get an idea of who knows what they're talking about, who doesn't.
Right.
But I would say safety, certainly. Now, again, Carl, comes down to how many safeties are they? How many picks are they going to have?
Right, because they do have 2 3rd-rounders, right?
Of 11, I don't have it in front of me, but
I think as we sit here right now, they've got 2 3rd-rounders. Now they may use a pick to kind of leverage and package to move up. Hey, look, man, I would love it if the Eagles, if the value is right. I'm talking about if they're following their board and one of those safeties you just mentioned, whether it's Morig, whether it's Richie Davis, right?
Mm-hmm.
If he's there in the 3rd round,
Richie
Grant. Yeah, they have the value on him. I would be very happy about the philosophy. You never know how a player is going to be, but I certainly would be happy that they address the position because they don't do it enough.
Yeah, they got I knew it was the Colts was the other one in the one trade.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That'd be
Of
a good
course.
area.
Good
Yeah, I agree. It's a good area.
All right. Aquatic Domain asks, this is a really good question. Are there any players on the Birds who are under 30 who you would consider elite?
There are so few elite players in the National Football League. I would put it this way. Blue chip is the term that scouts use.
Okay, fair question.
Blue chip players under 30, though. That's a good qualifier there. Not yet. No.
Not Dallas Goedert yet.
Not yet. Nope.
Not Jordan Mailata yet. Not Miles Sanders yet.
Nope.
Boy, they don't even have that many. Now that I'm going cycling through my head, they don't even have that many players under 30, Adam.
Yes, but guys on the precipice, okay? Guys who okay, Sanders, yes, he's got the ability to be 100%. Dallas Goedert absolutely does, right?
Jordan Mailata may have that. I mean,
Jordan Mailata does.
Really
Malo is just he'll never be elite. He's a very solid, dependable. He'll be an 8 to 10 year starter. This has been a good development of a third-round pick. We don't know about Rager. Rager could be someday. We just don't have enough information.
Javon Hargrave is a really good defensive tackle. I'm not ready to put him in elite or even excellent. That's just really good. You know, I know that there's high hopes for him, and he's shown you he can be a very good player, but not elite. Certainly nobody at the linebacker level. I don't know. Darius Slay is over 30. Certainly nobody at the corner or the safety level. So I think, we just basically addressed it. And obviously at quarterback, we'll have to see with Jalen Hurts, but not yet. A little too soon.
Yeah.
All right.
Good question. Really good question.
Yeah, that was a good question. It makes you think about like the future of the team.
Because I'll be honest with you, there's a veteran personnel guy that I know very well, and his team did a study. It's funny. It's funny you bring that up. The team that he was with for a while, they did a study on how many blue chip prospects or players it takes to win a Super Bowl. He said 7. Now, his is high blue. This is the highest level. There are just very few elite players in the National Football. These are guys that are stars.
Right.
Now, star does not necessarily mean elite. It could be. But guys who are starters for, it could be a decade, whatever, 8 to 10 years, and just really, really good. And they have to stand out and not have any weaknesses. I just don't. Sanders didn't regress last season. That's not what happened. What happened with him is he just didn't progress. He didn't get better.
Right. Well, I do think he got better running between the tackles, but I agree the whole picture. It's almost like he didn't have a chance at him. The way that how bad the offense was, how bad the line was.
But the drop passes, I would argue that
that's fair.
That's a problem. Still, though he's gotten better as a blocker, he's still not good enough.
Correct.
But he's got it. He has the chance, from a talent standpoint, if he puts it all together, be a top 5 running back. That he's unbelievably gifted.
Yes. But
it's going to be up to him. It's to the point through 2 years. The running backs don't have a long shelf life. It's almost to the point where it's on him and not coaching. Deuce is not here anymore, but he was a great running backs coach, still is, and he's now in Detroit. Jamal Singleton comes in, who's a sort of a journeyman coach. I'll be interested to see if he could get Sanders to take that next step.
Very good question. All right, next one comes from Lev Turkovich. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Do you think Derek Barnett is a trade candidate given his salary? And if so, what do you think is his value? Don't you think his salary makes him not along with other things, making $10 million a year is not exactly inviting if you're trying to trade him, because now you need a team.
You're right. He's on the final year deal. Just over $10 million. I don't.
No, because look, I mean, the Eagles are not deep at defensive end right now.
I know. Well, let's put it this way, though. Let's put it this way. If there's a guy that they like in this draft that they want to replace him with, then they'll move him. Now, we had reported at the time of the trade deadline, Seattle was one of the teams that called. Eagles told him any team that called, he was not available. Now, I'd have to go back and look it up or ask, was he? I know he was playing. He had some really good games in the first half before the trade deadline. I do wonder. See, this is my issue with it. If you're not going to extend his contract, get what you can for him. That's what I would do, but I'm not them. So,
you bring up a good point. Let's say the way the board falls and what the Eagles do, that they come out of the first round with Kwity Paye. He's got to be a starter from day one. Now the Eagles are fine with having guys come who are very good, like Davon Hargrave, come and be part of a rotation. At least they were with Jim Schwartz. If they were to draft Kwity Paye, would that make Derek Barnett more of a trade candidate? Again, you'd have to find a team willing to take that salary, but
he's at the bottom of my 12 for them. He's like, look, this is not a very good DN class in terms of high end. It's just not. That's the word around the league. Paye's probably going to go somewhere in 15 or 16 area, that area. That's right now. That's if you ask me for true serum, where do I think he's going to go? That's the area. Could he get 12 was the absolute earliest I think he would go.
Wow, a week ago you felt like he could go even higher because of, he's a pass rusher. And...
Right. Well, but what I'm finding out is he's a good player. He's not elite. He's not
Correct.
Special. Special guys go in the top 10 because I was trying to get clarification from guys I trust. Hey, give me what you think. And a couple guys that I trust agreed seemingly on what they think he is at the next level. He's got really good size. He's a very solid football player.
Right.
But again, if their board gets shot, that's a fine pick, by the way. I have no problem with it. And enough of this stuff about, oh boy, Michigan really struggles developing players. Like what happens is if a school has a couple dry years of not pushing players out at that position, that they don't do it. Like people forget about Gary, who's really coming on for the Packers.
Yeah, I think Devin Bush has turned out to be a pretty good player, right?
Yeah, unfortunately got hurt.
Yeah. I mean, he got hurt, but he was a heck of a player. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I don't know. Whatever position is. Yeah, it's just people sometimes overrate that. Anyway.
Definitely. All right. So next question from NFC East Beasts. Any news on Caleb Farley's injury or any interest by the Eagles? So well, we know all these guys
they wouldn't have interest at 12. No team would, barring a miracle. Medical wise, he's not. It's just not. The medical is the medical. It can't be challenged. Like you have every team has the same documentation. It's all out there. Multiple back surgeries. First one was more concerned. The second one was minor, but it's surgery. Okay, it's back surgery. He did that lifting. ACL reconstruction in 2017. There's some let's just put it this: from a medical standpoint, he's going to have a very low grade. In fact, I know he does from teams. It's just a matter of what the docs tell him, and what he certainly would not be a consideration of 12. The question is, does he go late in the first round? I don't know. I've maintained I still think he goes by 32. I think he goes, but we'll find out.
I can see it. I can definitely see that happening. We've seen that in the past. Yeah, no, definitely. I think if he were healthy, completely healthy, he would have every you would have every right to argue him as just as good as Horn and Surtain based on the information that people tell me.
And he's different.
Yeah, and a heck of an athlete. I mean, Horn's a great athlete. This guy is just as good.
Quarterback.
He can do anything. Yeah.
Right. I was saying the other day that it's kind of like with Lane Johnson. Lane Johnson was a quarterback at one point. Well, so was Caleb Farley.
Right.
Lane played tight end, then he went to tackle. This kid was a quarterback, then a receiver, then a corner. And his 2 years at playing corner was so incredible. I mean, guys are just personnel people are just foaming at the mouth with his tape, and he's just so unique, and he's sudden, he's big and tough and physical and special, but medical is a medical, can't be overruled. Just the way it is.
All right, let's finish it off with the question from the Latin Inferno Hire. He wants to know what is the bigger priority for the Eagles in the draft. Would it be finding a starting linebacker or one of those backup running backs that we've talked about to be part of the committee? I don't know if it's going to be a true committee, but at least having a really good number two to rely on. And the questioner mentions like Michael Carter of North Carolina, who we just spoke to about on our last podcast.
I did a little bit more digging on coaches I speak with that I trust tell me that you're always gonna have a problem with him if your starter gets hurt because he's
can't handle the workload.
The other kid, Kenny Gainwell, so much better. No knock on Carter. Kenny Gainwell's an absolute superstar in talent in terms of his 1 year tape was as Kamara-like as it gets, special, elite. But he absolutely could be a great number two running back. He's going to go in the third round. He could handle more of a workload, is what I was told. But the Carter tape is so intriguing, he's so explosive. But again, the Eagles don't need that guy. They need a guy if Sanders can't play. This is what we said last year with Boston Scott. The Eagles got their answer. He can't be the number two running back. That's over and done with. We know that. and they have to do something.
All right, so let me ask you. I'll rephrase that question.
Good.
It's the third round. The Eagles are up. Kenny Gainwell is on the board. Nick Bolton is on the board. What do the Eagles do?
Well,
what should they do?
The value. Gainwell as a third-round pick is an excellent value.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he didn't play last season. Bolton is a day one starter. Now, the Eagles are only going to use 2 linebackers.
Right.
So you have to judge the value.
Agreed.
Okay.
Agreed.
And the other thing is, I'm sorry?
It's an interesting decision.
It is. Is a number 2 running back of the future a need? 100%. Remember, the draft is not just this year. It's more about the future. Current needs are always for agency. Future needs with an eye on this year, that's the draft.
No doubt about it.
They need a future number 2 running back. And, folks, I would say that, remember, Ereck Wilson's on a 1-year deal. You're expecting him to come back, though, if he plays well. He'll come back for a second year and probably get an extension maybe late this season. Who knows? But and we don't know about Singleton. And Alex Singleton was an unbelievable story. We just don't know about him in this defense. We'll have to see.
Totally agree. All right. The next Inside the Birds podcast will drop 6 a.m. Thursday. We're going to preview. What position did we say we were going to preview on that?
OL. Yeah.
Offensive line.
And I'll crowbar the blocking tight ends. We'll get that.
Yeah, we'll get some blocking tight ends in there. Offensive line. Again, Adam Kaplan, Jeff Mosher, Greg Cosell, next Thursday night, 5:30 to 7:30, previewing the draft for 2 hours. Please don't miss it. If you have a chance to come see us at Evil Genius, make your reservations now. You can find the link on our Twitter account at Inside Birds. Want to say thank you to DraftKings, Deal Dash, Sky Motor Cars, of course, Jimmy, our producer here from Rebel Hill, and everybody else. Keep tuning in. We're going to have a lot more information coming as we go forward. Oh, and next week we'll also be doing, Adam and I will be doing a roundtable style Zoom show with Quentin Michael and Jason Avant, the stars of Q&A on the Inside the Birds platform. So get ready for a lot of draft coverage, baby, because we're bringing it to you. All right, everybody have a great rest of the night, great rest of the week, and we'll talk to you again next week. Take care.